Okay. Um, Welcome to episode 7 of Death Diaries. I'm Andy. I'm here with N-League, and today we have a special guest from Huntress, Tyler. He's worked as a IT support for the first 5 years of his career, and then he proceeded to Red Canary for another 5 years, where he worked as an incident handler, an engineer, and currently he is a senior detection engineer at Huntress as part of the Death Squad. Really happy to have him here because today he has really interesting stuff to show us. And Richard, how did you exactly meet Tyler?
Yeah, what's up, Tyler? Actually, we've met a while back on LinkedIn. I'm telling you guys, network on LinkedIn, speak and ask questions on LinkedIn because I think that is how you learn. That is how you get exposed to people like Tyler who have been in the industry and have a lot of great insight. So I'm not sure exactly what question I asked Tyler. I probably don't want to go back and ask him exactly what was asked. But that's how we know each other and how we're here today.
I kind of want to look.
That's hilarious.
Don't worry, I won't bring it up. Thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it. Happy to be here. Let's see. Should we just jump in?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
All right. So today we're kind of just it's a very informal chat on what I call atomic threat hunting. So basically, we're going to go over identifying a resource that could be like a blog, article, threat report, something that you've been looking at or studying, and now you want to look for it within your environment. And so there's a lot of good resources out there. Is it cool if I share screen?
Yeah.
for sure.
All right. I hate that Zoom got rid of the share screen like green button, and now it's just they all look the same. So I always feel lost when trying.
I think Zoom got breached like yesterday.
I don't say that.
Um,
Have you guys seen this website before called Know Your Adversary?
It's
Don't
the
mind
first
the
time.
.rutTLD. Nothing to see there. I
No
think
way.
it's just some researcher who I've seen post on the socials. But basically, he'll take a report and just identify some quick like things to hunt for, and like he'll give this pseudo logic here for the various techniques or activity that the article is kind of describing. And so this is a very quick and dirty way to start a hunt if you have the telemetry that he's kind of describing here. So this one is process creation with the process file path or run DLL32, and then has a command line of this DLL with this keyword here. Yeah, that's for Windows Credential Manager. This is PowerShell stuff. So okay, enable PowerShell remoting, so WinRM, which is usually turned off by default. So this usually indicates somebody's trying to move laterally with WinRM. So yeah, process creation, PowerShell, then enable PS remoting in the command line. Also, if you have a PowerShell 4104 script block logging turned on. It's probably another good source to look for if you don't have a process creation. But yeah, quick and easy way to get started with a hunt very fast and very quickly. There's a I
Wow.
didn't know he's almost at like 400 of these, which is crazy. But
Jeez.
this is just showing you like it. You don't need to like. This is very basic. Like
Mm.
it's literally just keyword searching, string matching on certain things. Um, so super easy, quick way to get started. Let's see. There is the lol farm. Is that lol farm? Yeah, farm. Yeah. Ooh, it got revamped kind of. But here there's even more things. So if you want to look at some drivers, maybe living off the land binaries for Windows, Linux, Mac OS, or actually not Mac OS. Lubins is for Mac OS. Yeah, this one here with the Apple. But yeah, there's a ton here, and is usually a good place to start. It kind of just depends on like what you're interested in. I'm gonna pause here for
Yeah.
any questions, comments from you guys. Hmm?
No, I think this is great. I recently discovered Lubins for a lab that I was working
Yeah.
on. And it
Yeah.
was just amazing because everyone talks about right, Lubins or everything, the Linux one. I forgot its name at the top of my head.
Uh, GTFO bins.
GTFO bins, yeah. So
Yeah.
the fact that there's a Mac one and also just Mac being I think a little bit more unexplored in IR threat hunting in general, it was kind of cool to find this resource. So
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this is also like whole low farm thing is great for anything that you think you're weak on or have a, poor understanding of. So this is always great reference material.
I got a question. So
Uh,
why
yeah.
are lol bins so as I assume like they're fileless? Um it's a fileless technique, so why is it more dangerous than just your normal threat?
Uh, the stuff comes installed with the OS, and
Mm,
so you really don't have to bring any tools with you. You can kind of use what's available within the operating system. So that's the main advantage. Also, when you're talking about like application control, or application allow listing, block listing, etc. These are usually still available because they're not really being blocked because they're native to the OS. They'll block things like usually, malicious binaries that are unsigned or new to the environment. Um, a lot of AV tools have like signatures already for malicious binaries that are unsigned or, not from the environment. And so it's just a quick and easy way to execute your malware. Specifically, like when we talk about you guys play with DLLs or like search order hijacking or DLL sideloading at all. So to take that a little bit further, you can use a binary or I think what was one recently? It was like the Komodo AV binary. So a legitimate binary that is used uh, to do something else other than execute malware. So in this case, I can't remember if it was Komodo or something else, but you have a benign binary, and then you can sideload a DLL that has your malicious code in it.
mm,
And so you'll execute that binary. That binary will automatically search order, look
mhm.
for whatever is in the directory or current directory. I forget how Windows does it, but
yeah,
basically it's an easy way to load your own code of a DLL that is because the binary itself, the benign binary, is just gonna load whatever the name of the DLL that it normally loads is. It's not gonna look at the content of the DLL. It's just
yeah,
gonna load it. So that's like another facet of that. It's not as That's why I pointed to hijack libs because it has a bunch of DLLs in here that can be abused or like this is trend micro DLLs. Um, but
They're
it
abusing Trend
it cut
Micro.
DLL looking for suspicious image loads. Yeah, or the name of it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so there's like a lot of stuff that kind of flies under the radar as far as like DLL side loading goes. Um, does that answer your question?
Yeah. I
Cool.
remember now. I vaguely for BTL1 we had to DL hijack calculator.exe, so
Okay.
it makes sense.
Yeah. Cool. Um, yeah, so these are great to pull from. We can start with a hunt that I did years ago, but this is kind of how I formulated it. Um, are you guys familiar with PS exec?
yep,
PowerShell execution.
Yeah, yeah, the sysinternals tool that is used by administrators, but leveraged by threat actors too. And so, let's see. I think this is just going over lateral movement. I'm specifically focusing on this remcom thing. And I mentioned PS exec because it's a legitimate tool to move laterally, do remote code execution, and then used by administrators too. So it blends into their environment. I would also consider that like a lull bin. It's not included in the OS, but it's part of the sysinternal suite. Like a lot of those tools within the sysinternal suite you can abuse as well. Um, that said, REMCOM is interesting because it was used in the 2016 DNC hack that the Russians used to use as remote code execution and move laterally to
Wow.
pivot and stuff. So REMCOM is the open source version of PSExec.
Mm,
And let me back up. This can come here. So impact examples psexec.py. Uh, this is like, let me back up a little bit. In addition to like low farm stuff,
mhm.
another good way to hunt or find hunts is looking at GitHub repos
Yeah.
for open source tooling. So
What is Impact It?
impact it. It is the open source tool. It used to be who had it before Fortra? Someone else had it. But then they handed it over to Fortra to keep the project going. But basically, offensive security tool that abuses um, Windows network protocols, basically.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, it can do a lot of stuff. I mean, all the stuff here. So it interacts with all these different protocols, uh, SMB abuse. You can dump passwords with it, secrets dump, Kerberos, pass the hash, etc. Um, so going back, these example scripts are usually what threat actors and red teams, pen testers alike use, and so it has a blended use in my opinion. So not only is this used on like a typical pen test or red team, but adversaries also use it as well. Um, a lot of the example scripts go unchanged, so they'll have the default values. So a lot of the values can be hard coded as well, so they'll be easy to predict to a degree on like the behaviors that they'll do. And so if we look at psexec.py, this is how I found out that remcom is like the open source version of psexec because of this here.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, you could pivot to like the old repo. It's no longer up to date, but basically replacement for psexec. Ronaz or Telnet, yeah. So it's pretty interesting. But basically, it's a way to move laterally and execute code remotely. Um, so usually you'll see this from like an unmonitored endpoint or commonly with a compromised like VPN appliance, or they just logged in with valid creds.
mm,
Um, and then the VPN pool isn't like segmented from the internal network, so they can just execute code and hit other endpoints, and everything works to a degree. Uh, so you'll find out things. Actually, this is what I wanted to touch on. This is all from memory. Communicaton. So they actually have a misspelling in. My God, where did it go? It gets Remco. No. Yeah. So this name pipe here, it produces the
oh,
name pipe with this misspelling of communication.
mhm.
And so that is like a big indicator that you can look for. You could basically just use this and start off as a hunt. You
That
know?
That's
was from the
crazy.
authors. The authors misspelled it.
I don't know if they misspelled it on purpose, but it is a typo.
Oh, okay.
And so you could just use this and look at if you have telemetry that collects name pipes,
Hmm.
you just do a keyword search for this, and if it pops up, then it's a good lead. When I was hunting for this, I did the exact same hunt. I just searched for this name pipe across customer environments, and I didn't find anything malicious, but I did find a lot of benign or typical software installed in an environment that does use this with the misspelling and all. So I think I'm pretty sure that developers at like one of them was Manage Engine use the same library, Python library for remcom.
Hmm.
And so as you threat hunt and like get reps in, you'll come across stuff like this all the time. Um, but if this had this name pipe and then like something else after it, like dumping LSAS or, PowerShell encoded commands or trying to pull down like another payload, then you'd probably want to start to dig in more to see what else happened. But I just see this and then like the parent process is like Barracuda or like Manage Engine. It's like, oh man, you guys are doing this to like update your agents or something. And so yeah, it's kind of crazy the stuff you'll come across. Um, any questions on
Yeah,
anything?
actually, what is a name pipe? I assume I've heard it's for like communications.
Yeah, with that in mind, what do you think it means? Like, keep going with that
So it's
exchange
like an
communication.
actual data pipe. I don't know why it's called name pipe, but you need to establish connections. It's
Yeah, there's name pipes and then there's anonymous pipes too.
okay.
Um, but basically, IPC just refers to interprocess communication. It's just a way to exchange data. So think of like client server exchanging data. It's the same thing, but just with what they call name pipes. It's very uh sneaky in a way because it's not the typical way you would move around data.
Mhm.
Um, so you have to be kind of well versed in that. Let's
So
see
why are
if
we
I
threat
red
hunting
team.
on name pipes?
Because this specific like the fact that this has a misspelling in it
Mm,
is huge because you're not like it's so unique that what else is going to have this other
okay.
than the benign applications using the same library. So this showing up as anything else is very unlikely, and it should be a high fit. Like you could literally create a role like this and probably find stuff. Like name pipe is this has this value,
Yep.
um, and you should find something.
Okay.
If this was spelled with correctly with two M's and this stuff here, then it wouldn't be as good of a hunt or like
Mm,
a starting hunt. Does that make sense?
yeah.
So spelling mistakes or things that are hard coded within like a repo. So like you'll look for things that are hard coded here.
Mm,
Service name. So you can like look at, with LLMs now, you could literally put in copy and paste this into an LLM, be like, what does this do? Because here's I think that's how that writes the name pipes. Communicaton. Can't find it.
actually, that's a good project. Like scan a bunch of GitHubs, find misspellings or
Y-
unique hard coded values, and then that's like
y-
something you can build
yeah,
on.
yeah. Actually, now that you said that, let's pivot to something else. Apologies if this is like very scatterbrained,
No, this is awesome.
but
This is awesome. Yeah.
This is like it feels like I'm
this
talking
will
to you.
make sense. It feels like I'm talking to you. You are talking to me. Let me pull up past reports, and I think it was last year's
I mean,
or
like it's like a conversation, which is what a podcast is. Not, it's just not like an info
yeah,
dump.
yeah. I don't want it to be boring. I want you guys to get stuff out of it. So, um, and back it. So if we zoom in, oh fuck, enhance. All right. So, on the Impacket topic, there is the script called smbexec.py. So it abuses, and so instead of using IPC to transfer data back and forth, it's going to use SMB protocol. And so think about like network shares use the same protocol. And so this used to create a file called execute.bat. One of the first iterations of it. Oh, sick, yes. So this is the exact pull request or commit that changes it. And so this used to be hard coded. So you could literally search for this as like a file, right? The word execute could, get you a lot of false positives because this is kind of like it's not like super unique. Execute could mean anything really. And so this was easy to fingerprint, but now they took it out and they put in this little thing here that basically says, hey, join with random characters that has like eight characters in it, basically. And so it's going to produce an 8 character random file with the extension BAT now. So like kind of paying attention to code changes within a repo of a tool that is oftenly used, or it's so ubiquitous that like it's used by defenders for testing, pen testers, red teams, adversaries, everybody loves it. Or everybody uses it, I should say. And so things that get a lot of use or that are popular, you should definitely pay attention to, especially if they're open source, because it's a easy, I won't say it's easy. There's ROI associated with it. It's an easy, like um the barrier to entry is lower than like a custom tool or a custom like vulnerable driver or something like that, or a 0-day or whatever the case is. So it's very easy for like someone who wants to get into threat hunting to look at this stuff because it's open and shared and available. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Da, 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 da. I should have just hit the the hyperlink. Okay. Trying to think. Oh yeah. One other thing I'll point out on this thing before I move on. Oops. Oops. Sorry. This also used to have, it still might have it, but this used to be hard coded too. I think they changed it. Um, they did change it, and it's a different PR. So this one used to have this hard coded file name, but they took it out, and now it's uh, dynamically created using that new function. But they also got rid of the hard coded service name. So this creates a service binary as well. And that service binary does the remote execution of whatever commands you're executing. And so BTB, like looking for a service name or service being created with BTO, used to be, which automatically indicate like, oh, this is in packet SMB execution. But now they took that away and they're doing something similar as well. Like it's the same kind of code here, or if else statement. Um, so this is going to be a random 8 character service name binary now. It's not going to be BTO anymore. So just paying attention, like I think you can set notifications on for like certain repos or at least watch them and see when there's changes. There's also, if you follow like Metasploit's repo or any other open source like C2 repos, because you could see like real time when like a POC drops and then it gets included in the Metasploit as like a module. And so you can kind of see or predict when like you'll see a spike in exploitation because of that. And so like things like that are kind of good places to look as well, in addition to like those open source like lol farm projects. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
When those repos come out, you already know. Everyone's gonna be
Yeah.
testing them. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like so impact it was like, well, you had crack map exec first, and then impact it, and then CME got kind of isn't really maintained anymore, and so they came out with NetExec, which uh, I think it's the same tool, just with more functionality.
Yeah.
They still use like in packet Python libraries, and so it's kind of the same thing to a degree. Like a good test, if you guys have time, is to like remotely execute them all and see what the differences are. But like, I think if I can return, I can just search the whole code base. Watch, and packet. Like it's all using the same libraries pretty much for functionality because why reinvent the wheel? Like I totally get it. Um, but like I said, it's a good thing to pay attention to. Protocols, I think it does something similar. Yeah, SMB, like WMI. So similar to WMI exec. This is their implementation. This is how they execute SMB stuff. Anyway, it's just a good place to look for ideas on what to hunt. If you can't think of anything. Let's see. I think that's good enough. um, we can move on to. Oh, I want to mention this other project that my buddy of mine
Mm,
started. It's called Lolglobs. And so
cool.
I hate globbing when it's used in in like obfuscation
Yeah.
attacks.
What is
And so like
clubbing?
you'll see so it's a wild card basically.
Mm.
Um so instead of like writing out the whole like add type CMD let, you can use wildcards instead.
Well,
And PowerShell will just execute this as add type.
mm,
And so you could do like question mark, you could do this glob right here in the front because the only CMD let that matches this like pattern is add type. So you don't necessarily need to know or input the whole like CMD let. You can just use wildcards or globbing to make it look or to basically bypass command line rulings. Like if you're looking for a specific string, say you're looking for add type, like PowerShell, and then has add type and command line. This will bypass that, so you won't even get a detection for it because it's not strictly matching those characters. Ooh, got a YAR rule tool. It's pretty cool. But this is also a good place to like look for hunts, especially if they relates to like globbing, stuff like that. Any questions here?
I don't know. It's pretty cool. Yeah, if you could just drop the link,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
share it to people.
So now that that's ineffective, right? String searching for certain CMD lits, right? Obfuscation techniques. Then obviously we have behavioral detections, but so what do you guys do to counter globbing? I mean, is it just
Emulate
relying
and test.
fair?
Emulate and test. Like
Because if there's a dozen ways to get that functionality without having to type the CMD lit, that's some scary stuff.
yeah, you guys know invoke expressions, so like I want to execute code. Like this is
That's crazy.
funny.
Man. Oh, we're
Yeah,
so
whatever
cooked.
payload. Dude, get alias. uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, there's just a lot of ways, different ways to break it. Like that's the beauty of contextual detections or
Oh,
contextual hunt rules. So like this could still be caught with something that's super broad. Um, so it's like yes, you can get super narrowly focused when you're on a hunt or creating a rule, but um there's also a lot of value in contextual rules or hunts. So it's not supposed to be like super precise. It's
hmm
supposed to be vague and kind of ambiguous. Like you're casting like a wide net. And so like with a wide net, you're gonna catch more things, but also things that you wouldn't necessarily like this kind of like globbing stuff is kind of niche edge case to a degree. Like we do see it, but it's not as super common as like invoke obfuscation, or any of the other obfuscation tools.
So like a regex
But
detection would be a literal um, rule, and then what you were showing us to be able to detect that you would need a context-aware rule.
um, that's a good question. Um,
Um,
yeah, sorry, go for it.
yeah, I was assuming like I'm assuming that now you would kind of trace what that CMD lit is actually doing. So instead of now searching for the string usage, it's more so like what is it actually, what is its functionality, and let's work backwards from that. Although we'll catch benign stuff, that's why we tune. Which I guess this whole globbing stuff just makes creating detections a little bit more annoying because now you have to work backwards. It's like, okay, I'm gonna crack that, that the wide net and
Yeah.
then tune for an activity that we know until we kind of like, funnel it down, which makes everything more annoying, I guess. But
Oh, you're having fun, right?
Tyler's like, yeah, that pretty much describes my job.
I mean it sucks, but it's you kind of have to do it. I mean it's easier in like your own environment, or if you're like on an internal security team, it's a lot easier because you know the environment a lot better. You're not managing several environments, whereas like me at a service provider, like it's hard to create those rules because they're gonna be noisy because you're creating it for like several environments and not just one. And so like it just depends also like the environment you're trying to secure and defend. Um, the context, like the way you go about hunting and detection engineering work will be dictated by your environment and like the tools you have available, etc. But yeah, like there's always value in like a broad rule or contextual alert. And then like for stuff that is super specific, you'll do it for like a campaign or tradecraft that is like being observed in the wild currently. But that's gonna ebb and flow. Like, you'll get like a peak and then it'll kind of die down, and then like you'll see like a new technique or new campaign doing something different or trying to like, evade what was going on a couple months back. And so it's the, standard cat and mouse game. What was I saying?
Oh yeah, I guess we were kind of just going over the tools and the
Okay.
tradecraft that that is being used.
hmm let's pivot to click grab. So this is a project that my friend Mike Hague started. It's all about click fix.
Hmm.
Um, so they have, where's the GitHub? This GitHub repo. It's actually a culmination of a few different projects. I think John Hammond had like something on his own, and they included it into here. And then this other guy named Carson had his own. Yeah, this ClickFix Carson one. This one's good too. It just shows different information basically. Let me back up one. And then John Hammond. Everybody knows John. Everybody loves John. I wonder if it's here. I don't know. But basically, on here, the techniques is what John had originally. And so, like, he had laid out all these different binaries being used. I think they're all lulbins. Um, and like the lure, and then the references on when it was used at, mitigations, etc. What is this? Try example. Let's see. Oh, I don't have a win on my keyboard. It's a Mac. Oh, next step, next step, next step. Copy command. Wait, what is it? Oh, just W script? Okay. It's no fun. No real payload.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, darn. Dang it. Okay, let's go back. Sorry if I'm giving you guys whiplash and your viewers, I really apologize. Let's go here. give you. This one's cool because it actually does the screenshot of the click fix site or lure. Oh, this one has no. That one didn't have anything. Holy shit! Let's look at this one. Um, I'm not a robot. Oh, dang, clever lady. Like, dude, what is this? Oh, and some PowerShell. Oh, is this terminal fix? Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So terminal fix is specifically instead of like entering it in the run dialog, you open up PowerShell or CMD or terminal, Windows terminal, and then you paste in the code. But that makes sense because it's all just like .NET stuff and encoded junk. Um, but I like this project a lot because it gives you a lot up front and it has a variety of different payloads you can look at within your environment. Um, so it's a really easy way to look at basically different ways to execute code and also the different download cradles it'll use as well. Um, oh my gosh. It even has some
There is
asking.
no
Oh wait.
way.
Oh, so
There's no
she's
way.
running proofs of concept. Just a minute. What?
It's so sad because so many people fall for this too.
Yeah, but like, what is this? Uh, cyber. Uh, wait, let me enhance,
Claude enhance.
remove null bytes. All right, so what the fuck is this? Oh, it's an
Not
MSI.
an MSI. Oh my gosh.
Oops, that didn't do what I wanted to. Oh my gosh. Interesting. So they're wait.
GCM. GCM that.
Am I missing something? No, this is like, yeah, this is like
Yeah.
globbing. So this is curl.
Hmm.
GCM is a PowerShell CMD let. It's I think it's is it get content? Yeah, GCM or no? Fuck, GCM? No. My gosh, embarrassing. Sorry. GCM. Oh, it's just get command. Okay.
Cool.
Duh.
Just showing the whole payload
So
while you're like
yeah, so get
othering.
command, and this is like IEX, get command, curl. Uh,
What's the first two salary?
I don't know, but
No idea.
uh, I don't know.
Hmm.
Gotta use Claude. But basically, it's using this is the download cradle. Is you're using curl to download this thing, which is the MSI file, or it says it is via the file extension. So
Mm.
don't really know, but this has been pot like I don't know if this is like someone messing around or if it's like a real thing, but GitHub profiles have been pretty hot right now to stage like malware.
Hmm.
And so we've been seeing that a lot lately. Let's go, yeah. So this is like again super easy. Anyone can do this. I can just copy this, see if it's in my environment or like this IP.
Okay.
Um, Stuff like that, or like, hey, does PowerShell like execute like this at all in my environment? What the fuck is wind? Or are they using? I don't know.
But that's what makes it an interesting hunt. You're like, this is a new way that they're executing this or using this. Let me go see if it's in my environment.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
so this one too, like, this is for web dev stuff. Are you guys familiar with that at all? So
Audio
you know
file?
how to, no. Have you used this way to map a network share before?
Yeah.
like net use, and then it's like the letter of the drive, and then like whatever the path is.
Yeah.
So you can do that over the internet. And so this is they're mapping a drive
Wow.
using the WebDev. I think it's WebDev protocol. Um, but basically, yeah, so they're using NetUse to map a drive that's on the internet. That's why it has this external IP. Um, and then I'm gonna download this and then delete the network drive. So this is the .cmd is basically like a batch file. It's like the more modern batch file. And so it's just gonna run a script and execute stuff. So there's a lot you can do in here. You can see, do we map network drives externally at all? If we do, like what are they? And do they have like a sanctioned business use for it? So like that's a good one. If you don't and it's reaching out to like an IP like this, that's very weird and odd. You should definitely pull on that thread and like continue down to see what you can find. Um, Forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, if you do get this, you can look at the contents to
Mm.
see what it's doing. There's like batch files are also really good things to hunt too. Man, it's like I just have idea on idea. Sorry, I'm gonna pivot to
No, this is great. This is great. This is great.
This is, I mean, for people that don't work in cyber, this is kind of how you do your day job. You just like keep pivoting, gaining
yeah,
context.
before Claude, I had to do this by hand.
I have to use my brain.
Yeah, this is like handcrafted, artisan, farm to table. All right, so I think this had open directories. Open, yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna scroll through here because I forgot where everything is. Oh yeah. A word of caution. If you are gonna interact with open directories, like I am not a lawyer, I this is not professional advice. Like proceed with caution because it is an OPSEC failing traditionally on the adversary or threat actor, but was it open for a reason? Are they monitoring the opener
Mm.
of the IPs? Are they fingerprinting browsers, etc.? Like when they come and visit? So it's like a double-edged sword. Like, yes, there is a lot of good information in there, but proceed with caution. Like a better way is to hunt like in GitHub repos because that's already like it's through GitHub. It's not like through some VPS that has an open directory that could be have some kind of logging or something like that that the adversary is watching. So anyway, open doors are a great resource to pull in more hunt ideas because this is like threat actor toolkit to a degree. So a lot of good stuff in here. Specifically, the batch files I really like because I suck at reverse engineering. And like I think these like ngrok, we all know ngrok, a tunneling tool, but like anything else that's like custom, like I would have a hard time or it would be really slow for me to reverse engineer something to understand it. And so batch files is
Mm.
what I really like because it's all just commands. And so again, super easy way to know what is this? Sorry. Oh, dude, it doesn't go all the way down. All right, here we go. This is one of the batch files. What did they say? So I think this is to install their own Atera agent. But basically, yeah. So if you look at a batch file, it's all just commands. So like in this one, they're killing the existing Atera and then removing it, and then task killing anything else that might be left. And then I think they just install their own. Or one is for stopping and removing the other one, or the existing one if it does exist, and then they install their own for
I didn't know
persistence.
what Atera was, and it seems like a performance monitoring software. So I assume
It's
they're like monitoring
a
visibility,
it's a RMM. It's a
remote management
RMM.
tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boop, boop, boop. Atera. This one. Oh, this is a great. resource 2, lol RMM.
You just have a site for everything, Tyler.
Some of my brain works. And so yeah, if you want to hunt RMMs, you could do it here. RMM's so hot right now. It's the new C2.
Mm.
Yeah, so they have like disk artifacts, other artifacts within like event log context, all the registry settings. Dude, I wonder if this threat actor was like, oh, cool, this is like how you get rid of it. Nice. And then there's like open source Sigma rules too. If you like Sigma or use Sigma. Anyway, uh the backup.bat one. Let's see. Delete system backups. Okay, so they're abusing the WB admin. They're abusing several different lol bins. So WB admin, Wimic, VSS admin, BCD edit. So this is just a way to kill or delete shadow copies on a Windows endpoint in several different ways.
Like
So they're just
anti-forensics.
yeah, well, basically, they're getting ready to encrypt your box and they don't want you to recover at all. So any volume shadow copies that are on
Mm.
the box itself, they want to get rid of. They want to make sure like if you're gonna restore, then you have to really earn it. Like, because like hopefully you have some backup that's like offline or something that wouldn't be affected by this. Um, Batch file to clear event logs. So this is like registry stuff. Um, but yeah, a good way to see if someone is or so you could usually find out like one way to remove volume shadow copies, but this gives you several different ways. So like there's a lot of this right here is a lot of good information in my opinion because it's showing you all the different ways that are commonly used to delete shadow copies. Yeah, anti-forensics here, so clearing the event log. Um, there's another one for I forget what this one's doing. Oh, this one's good. So this is like basically neutering Defender. So all the different ways to disable Defender, the real-time Defender service, anti-spyware, like all of these things right here. All the different like background services it uses. Pretty cool in my opinion. And not like it's not cool, but like it's interesting that they're going like
Yeah.
through all these things to ensure that it's disabled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then a similar one here. Sorry, Andy, were you gonna say something?
no, you always have to be careful about threat actor
Yeah,
tactics because it's cool technically, but then they're doing bad stuff.
bad stuff. We don't like that. Um, oh, this one's for malware bytes, I think. So it's uninstall Defender.
Hmm.
And then they're also looking for malware bytes too via Wimic to uninstall it. Let's see what else. More stuff there. Oh, they're just analyzing that script. Okay. More ways to delete backups. So this is interesting. So like with this here, you would see CMD execute and then have a child of WB admin with this command line here. So short of executing this personally, oh yeah, that's another good reason I like batch files. You could copy this verbatim, create a batch file internally, and then emulate this, and then see like did any rules fire? Could you find this within the telemetry you have? So it's a great way to atomically emulate something, short of using atomic red team or something else. So quick and dirty way to do that. Um, but yeah, you would see cmd.exe execute child of wbmn, have these as command line arguments. Same with bcd edit and so on. Uh, more of the same, more of the same. Oh, this one's good. This disable.bat. So this is talking about ransomware. In order to encrypt all files, we need to stop any databases running. that have files in use,
Mm,
so they can be encrypted. And so that's why they're killing all these different database executables or processes. Uh, this is all security tools, I think. So yeah, so this is like for Kaspersky, all the different services that run for Kaspersky AV, Trend microservices. Here's Hyper-V for hypervisors. So again, if a VM is running, like it won't get encrypted. So they want to stop everything basically. They kill security tooling because they want to execute their ransomware. So any tools in the way that might stop that or make it successful, they want to get rid of, obviously. But uh, more of the same, but different ways to achieve the same result. So in addition to removing like the services, you also want to kill the process or associated processes with that application. More of the same too. This is just like instead of like sc delete, deleting the service, you're stopping the service with net stop.
mm,
Again, more database stuff. But this is just like good stuff to look for. It's like, for example, I saw NetStop QuickBooks DB1 execute in my environment. We don't have QuickBooks. We use something else. Like that's a red flag. And so having that environmental context is huge.
okay.
And that goes back to the like if you're part of an internal security team, it's easier to do because you have all the context without having to ask many people. Whereas if you work at a service provider, it's harder because you don't know and you're using like best judgment. Um, so just again, context matters on what you can and can't do. Let's see. This is more other stuff. Ngrok, DNS cache stuff. I think that's basically it. Any questions so far?
No, this is a lot of good information. I think I'm a very big supporter of like, dude, you need to go read that newest incident response report
Uh-huh.
and to not only see what artifacts they gathered, but also seeing exactly what they're executing, what they're leveraging, whether, it's in UC2, whether it's in, an RMM tool that you haven't heard of.
Mhm.
And see how you can build a hunt off of that. Confirm around, hey, do we use this by any chance? It takes that one good question to really be, a lot more aware of your environment. So,
Yeah,
this just goes to show how important and how much context you can gain just by reading one report. So this is great.
cool. All
What
right,
do we
I'll
got
go
here?
over. This is my project I just started. Uh, so I have a project called Detection Choke Points, and it's basically things that a threat actor can't change
Mm,
about the environment that they have to do this one action in order to progress to their objective or final objective. So I have one for click fix techniques, and if you look at this section here for choke points, so each of these stages like has to occur in order for click fix to happen. So they need to host a website with a lure that entices the user to uh, click on the button where it says copy or, open, whatever. And that's the copy function. So there's opportunity here for detection because this basically doesn't change. So you could use like a ETW rule where it can inspect clipboard operations. So like clipboard operation happens from a website. Um, that's something that like the adversary cannot change for this technique. Like they have to do this in order to progress. Does that make sense? So for click fix, you see all the different lures. User has to be enticed to click on a button and then execute code um, on them or for themselves. And then next part is like the actual execution. So this is like when the end user pastes that command into the run dialog, explorer, or terminal. as we've seen lately. So that has to happen. So a scripting interpreter of some kind has to execute.
Yeah.
And then followed by the second stage retrieval. So usually it's a download cradle being executed. Download cradle is just like a one-liner. Um, so they could use curl, they could use MSHTA, they could use PowerShell, basically anything that is used to reach out to the internet and grab a file and download it. Um, is basically what we're looking for. So those are like what I call choke points because third actor has to do this. Otherwise, it's not the thing that we're describing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. And then down here, I have all the different variations. So like we've heard of click fix and like the source of where it came from. It's just a short description of what it is. And then all the other ones that I've seen
So many
are
variations. Jeez.
yeah. And so like you're getting all these different variations. However, despite there being like a lot of different variants, like it still follows the same pattern of behavior. So lure, delivery, execution, then second stage payload. Then we get down to the detection strategy. So this is like something I came up with. So pre-execution, you could use ETW. There's like example ETW rule down here. Um, so looking for any browser process and then clipboard content contains any of these things that may, be related to any of the variants. Um, and then like research based. So this is like what I was talking about earlier with that like contextual rule or like casting a wide net. This is us casting a wide net from the beginning.
Yeah.
So basically looking for a scripting interpreter process that has a network connection but isn't internal. So that's what filter private means. So basically looking for scripting interpreter process that makes a network connection to the internet for some reason. And then we go through the journey of like tuning and narrowing this down. So next iteration would be like a hunt rule. So we'll keep the same logic before with scripting interpreter makes the network connection, but also has like a parent of a web browser. Waterfox? I don't even know if that's real.
Open source Firefox.
Is it?
I don't know idea actually.
No cap?
Yeah, open source web browser.
Waterfox.
That's
Okay.
interesting.
All right. And then also like Explorer for like the typical click fix, and then like we've seen Windows Terminal lately, as well. So with that same kind of thought process, like the next iteration would be Analyst. So this is like very specific, production ready for an analyst to investigate and triage. Because now that we have it in this version, it's pretty much a true positive or should be a true positive. Very, very few false positives should occur in here. So this is just same thing, parent of web browser process spawning scripting interpreter, and then command line contains any of these other things or ways to download a second stage payload. But yeah, this is like very specific, analyst ready, I call it. And then below that are just like examples of raw logs. So like this is what it might look like, and this applies to like all levels, research, hunt, and analyst. And then DNS query. This one applies to research and analyst. Not so much hunt. Well, that's interesting. Why is it research analyst? I guess it could be used interchangeably for both. And then this covers all of them because it's the network connection. Basically giving you an idea what it might look like, what the activity might look like in
Yeah.
logs, so
That's
that you
really
don't have
useful.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
When I do research of like a
Thanks.
new threat, I'm always thinking like, hey, how does this look in my logs? Because that's essentially what I'm going to be looking for. So having this pre-built is super convenient.
Yeah, and then I have an emulation script. I haven't tested if this actually works or not, so it might not work, and I might need to fix it. But this is an emulation script to emulate the behavior to see if like, oh, did these things occur? Am I logging this? What's going on kind of thing. And then OSINT pivots to like this is a way to find stuff in the wild. Another way. I think this one you need a
Subscription.
let's or just an account. Yeah, please create a user account.
Okay.
Because oh yeah, they don't like leading wildcard. That's fine. Uh, title. That'll work. But basically you can look for stuff on URL scan. So this just has like page body has like clipboard stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so that's all that is. And like, is there one for if you have VT and like VT Enterprise, you could do this stuff too. And then it just has related choke points. But yeah,
So
that
much
was
context. This is nice.
the intent. A little shameless plug.
I mean, this is research that like someone developing a detection would have to spend like a couple hours trying to read. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
at this
Oh,
point, you
and
could
then
just go validate it.
yeah, exactly. So this was talking about to view the choke points. So I have these attack
Ooh, that's
chains that
nice.
show like TTP overlap, and then
Uh-huh.
you could also like select different actors to see like which
That's
ones
sick.
overlap. If you want to see like all or just a few, you can. But basically, when nothing's selected, the orange ones are everything that all of these actors do.
Mm,
So if I had to start from the beginning, I would just focus on stuff that everyone does, in terms of like getting ROI really quickly. And so if you just focus on overlapping TTPs, you're also be in a good spot. Um, so yeah, the choke points are there. And then I also have like choke point opportunities by stage. So anything I have for choke point on the choke points page will show up here and any of the stages that are applicable. Um, and then actor convergence matrix. So this is just like how they converge with the TTPs that they have or perform. But yeah. Oh, and then I have a trends page. Sorry, this is me just like talking about my project instead of
No, this is sick. This is good.
so I took Haig's click grab thing
mhm.
and I analyzed all of his weekly exports and it came up with this
What do you mean
kind
by
of like a
export?
trend. So he has there's like a nightly reports thing. So all of the content on his site for stuff, like all this stuff. Like
Hmm.
you can view it here in a GUI, but it's also exported like via JSON
Okay.
as well. So this is like 10 months of data that I wanted to analyze and see if anything is changing in terms of like click fix tradecraft.
Hmm.
And so this is just the attack chain that occurs
Hmm.
for it's kind of what I went over for the choke point for click fix. But it says it in a different way here.
That's actually really cool.
Um,
That's what I want to see if I'm trying to understand an attack.
Yeah, like I think it's super power. Like I like pictures and stuff. Like it helps my brain a lot when I see it like this. Like this is actually what's happening.
Picture book club.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. Um, this is just like confirm malicious or not versus like what they crawled. I'm pretty sure everything is malicious. Cloud was just like, this is important. Let's show this. Um, Cradle family evolution is really cool because it shows you like the different ways that they're what they're leveraging for download cradles. There was a spike for curl and bash
Mm.
earlier this year for whatever reason. I don't know if
Interesting.
that's with more prevalence on like Mac OS or Linux endpoints as a result.
I think initially like
But
PowerShell came out and like those got shut down pretty quick.
yeah, but kind of a cool trend analysis to see like what's fluctuating and what's not, what's being used and what's being discarded. And then it has like a little blurb about that as well down here.
Mm.
Um, and then like the specific evasion stuff. So if they're using like base64 encoding or like hidden window or mixed case obfuscation, that shows up here. Or like a start sleep function, self-delete. It also did an analysis of like the domain it's using to serve the
Mm,
second stage. So this one is interesting because it's just a CDN. It's just CDN dash website, and I think you could spin up any like subdomain from it. And so like 46 or over 400 payloads were hosted using this CDN.
That's
And
crazy.
so another good hunt would be like from this information is like, okay, I'm gonna focus on like abuse of this specific CDN or CDNs in general to see how they might be abused. So that could be a hunt too, or something you kind of go down the rabbit hole with. And then this one was just a WordPress site that got compromised.
Mm.
And so they were just hosting their second stage payload here, which is interesting because like if you do any kind of domain block listing based on like reputation, this will bypass it because this is a
Mm.
legitimate site, WordPress site, but it got compromised. But it has the good standing reputation of like, oh, it wasn't created recently. It has a .com TLD, so nothing like super sus about it. And so it blends in fairly well, and quite a number of payloads were were used
Yeah.
with it.
I think we're gonna see a lot more supply chain stuff in the
Yeah,
future.
it's like I have some like enrichment stuff on it too. The arrow. And then like it's kind of what we went over in the click fix choke points, but I have examples on like what they would like what you would be detecting on. So like unusual parent spawning PowerShell. So like Explorer spawning PowerShell or something like that. And then another example here. And then all the different ways they're using download cradle. So like this is IWR and IEX. So invoke web request, IRM, using the web client to download. So another thing to pull out from here is like from these different ways to download things, like do I monitor them at all? Like are they being used maliciously? Are they being used legitimately in my environment? So all good questions to ask kind of yourself and the way the business works to detect some of this stuff. Yeah, and then curl and then more curl.
You have everything in
But
this tool, dude.
trying to. Yeah, base 64 stuff. So like, is it using base 64? Oh yeah, it has it decoded here too. I didn't even know it did that. Uh, so like, how well are you at decoding base 64? What else is this? Oh, this is the start sleep thing. So
Mm.
like, you have any PowerShell scripts executing with start sleep? If you do, why? How long is it sleeping for?
Why did they do that? Start sleep.
To avoid being detected. It's kind of like defense evasion. So
Hmm.
like a lot of malware does this too. They'll have a sleep function, like sleep for 20 seconds and then execute.
Mm.
Um, so I think it's more of a AV bypass kind of thing because you would still see this with like EDR
Yeah.
or like Sysmon. I think it's just supposed to is avoid some kind of security tool. I think it's AV.
Mhm.
It might be AV. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But it's to for defense evasion. I know that much. And then start sleep, and I think this one does delete or something. Or there was a delete one. Yeah, and the IRP, CDN staging stuff. But yeah, what do you think? Thoughts? I think I rambled a
So
lot.
no. This is nice. So are you planning to do this with more type of attacks, or
Can we
just
see
like
the
ones that
rest?
interest you?
What did you say, Andy?
Oh, can we see the rest of the choke points?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richard, I want to expand this. This is just like stuff I was thinking about initially. A lot of it still needs content. Like the web show one is cool, but I need to put in like the choke points for this. Um, research to like, yeah, all the different web server processes. Is this just for that? Oh. Uh, oh, any child processes being that might come from this. So you're observing just the parent, and then what is it? What follows on afterward?
So The intent is a new attack comes out, right? A new incident blog, and Tyler has already a choke point on it where I can come here and see exactly how this was triaged, how I can grab it and already, create a detection. Is that the intent?
Yeah, to a degree, but also like there's so many different web shells, as you can see from this small list.
Yeah.
But there's a lot like web shows have been around for a while, like China Chopper 2013. So they work obviously, but there's so many of them. Like who cares about all the different variants? They all are gonna do the same thing, right? So I have for a web shell to occur, like I have to be hosting a web app or something for the adversary to interact with my web application for them to upload their web shell, and then the browser will execute the web shell on the back end, and then that's when you can start entering commands. Um, but they all work the same way. I need to upload a file to a certain directory, and then that needs to be executed. Once it's executed, I'm typically going to have a web server process execute a child process of a scripting interpreter. And so, like, parent, various web server processes, uh, spawning these processes, kind of weird. And then to take it further, the analyst one is, oh yeah, so this is a file, right? Uh, and then web server process as a child of scripting interpreter, and then post exploitation commands. So like enumeration,
Yeah.
discovery, like where am I? Who am I? Um, kind of thing, situational awareness. And so that is the idea. Like I got so tired. This is me ranting again of all the click fix stuff. Like, oh, click fix this, click fix that. I'm like, dude, it's the same thing every time. It's
Like
just
a million
same
variations
thing.
now.
Yeah. Just the only thing that's different is like the lure potentially, but like this is all the same. And the second stage payload is like different, but it's usually like a Steeler RMM or like C2 implant or something like that. And so it's not like it's following the same structure, like it's going down the same funnel.
I get what you're trying to
If
say.
it,
There's just different
yeah,
skins, and you're really trying to monitor the choke points that all of them have to go through.
yes, like they're all different, yes, but they all have to like follow the same rules to execute their thing and like
Yeah.
proceed. If they don't do that, then it's something else entirely. So that's like the main point I'm trying to get across is that
Mm,
all of these variations are the same thing. Like all these Steelers, same thing. They do the same thing. They dump the browser database.
yeah. So
Um,
this is just observing that like one point in that funnel right before they come out on the other side. It's like they
yeah,
all have to get through that side. Okay, this is cool. It's cool.
yeah, exactly. So these are all like the different credential databases for the different web browsers. Um, and then like you're filtering the browser process itself because that's usually not the stealer, unless they name the stealer the same thing, which will be interesting. But yeah, and then you're basically starting broad and then getting more specific and more specific. Um, but yeah, it's all different stuff.
I get why
Uh,
this is super cool and useful is because, analysts we get like a very specific attack or like you said, a very specific web shell and oftentimes because of time constraints or whatever, we're looking for just the signatures for that. But if you,
yeah,
go outside and, you look at all these aggregated uh choke points, then you can look on a broader scale, which is what you should be doing after you detect something.
yeah, exactly. It's like how many threats can this one rule catch, basically? Because it's back to ROI. It's like the more rules or detectors you make, the more you have to manage as well. So that's going to create more overhead on you. So if you're creating a lot of rules, you have to maintain them or someone does. So you kind of have to pick and choose on how you want to go about detection.
I think the
Uh,
shareholders are very happy about this detection check point.
it's so yeah, like as I was stating earlier with like Impacket and how all these like hack tools kind of like do the same thing. Like that's why I wanted to create one for hack tools or remote execution. Like I need credentials, I need valid creds, so I need that at least. Um, a remote execution primitive, so like I need to be able to abuse some kind of protocol to remotely execute over the network. And then remote execution and lateral spread kind of happen together because you're authenticating from a remote endpoint to the target endpoint. Um, so all three have to occur. I need creds. I need a protocol to run my command over, and then the actual command, and then authenticating, etc. Variations there. Pre-execution is like stuff that doesn't hit the endpoint yet. So like for ClickFix, you could potentially use an IOK rule to detect like HTML content of the web page itself. Those are written like Sigma style. Those are pretty cool, actually. IOK
I
rules.
I've never
I've
heard of
never,
this
yeah, I've never heard of
actually.
this too.
What do you guys live under a rock? I'm just kidding. It's pretty niche, and isn't super well known. But basically,
Rootkit.
you no, not rootkit, phishing kit.
Mm,
Um, so fish report has this thing called IOK. It's structured very similar to Sigma, but if you look at the detection aspect, it's like you could do HTML code or like this is certain specific things on an HTML page
mm,
that we're looking for, or like JavaScript files or
okay.
file names. Basically fingerprinting the page itself.
Uh,
So like with ClickFix, it always has like, I am not a robot, like verify human or whatever in it. And so you could use that as like a hunt rule using IOK, or you could just come on like URL scan and like play around that way and try to find stuff.
mm,
Or you could use, click grab or the Carson one or whatever. It's all different methods to achieve the same outcome. But like IOK would be an example rule of pre-execution because you're detecting it uh, pre-click to a degree, just with a different data source. Like ideally, you would use like a browser extension or something like that, or some kind of tool to where you can like scan domains or web pages, like an internet scanner kind of thing to collect it, and then create a pipeline to feed that. Like URL scan has the DOM, which is the content of the web page. So like this DOM will have like I am human or verify you're human. I am not a robot in here. And so
Is
yes, go for
is
it.
there a specific role that works on IOK detections? I feel like no, maybe, right?
What do you mean?
Like who do you even who do you even hire? Be like, hey guys, we want to actually because detection engineers are working on, your regular detections. Are detection engineers also working on IOK rules, or is this something that hasn't been adopted yet, really?
This is pretty niche. Like not
Yeah.
everyone does
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
Richard,
And so
sorry.
no, you're good,
Okay,
Richard.
so this reminds me, I mean, of niche threat hunting, which I think like Sublime, right? They do threat hunting on email security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is making me realize that like every single tool could honestly have its own like set of indicators.
Yeah.
Dang,
Yeah.
that's blowing my
I
mind.
think endpoint is just the easiest since it's the most like commoditized and most popular and is what we really see. Um, Even with like the adoption of like SaaS and cloud stuff. Endpoint is still like a pretty large swath of tradecraft. Doing stuff like this is like, I hate this terminology, but moving left of boom. So like getting further to like the pre-execution stage of the kill chain before the user clicks and executes code. Like we can detect something malicious uh pre like further left of the kill chain.
Yeah.
And so like you could basically scan websites and alert on any of these things that have, malicious code or HTML or like would be an indicator of like click fix. I keep saying click fix because it's the easiest to reference and everyone knows what I'm talking about for the most part. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff you could do with here. You mentioned Sublime. Sublime has really good documentation on their stuff. It's
And good
also
shirts.
like great shirts. Is that even there?
Great shirts.
Yeah, they do. They had a really sick Akira one.
Mm.
Is it a resource? Oh yeah, they have this EML analyzer. They even have. Oh, wait, no, this is the rules. Oops, oops. Let's see. Core feed rules are all open source, so you can come here and like look at stuff. They even have wow, this is very
It's crazy.
busy.
Sheesh.
Uh, so you can see there's a lot of stuff here. This is just for malware ransomware. So all these different rules, you can see when they're updated. Um, it's all open source. So pretty cool stuff for being free. This is how they write their rules. Um, it's not too, you just have to get used to the query language. But again, all open source, like you could play around with it. You
Mm.
could open this in their playground and then like run it. They have learn MQL. They even have like a whole lab thing. Yeah, this thing is really cool. If you
MQL.
want to learn about, yeah, like I'll throw this in the chat. MQL is their message query language. But this is really cool. Anyone could register and like you just go through the labs.
Mm.
Their whole thing is like open source too. So like
That's
if you
Blade
wanted
Runner.
to, you could run your own Sublime security gateway and like write rules against like the spam that you get. And so
That's insane.
Yeah, these guys are
if
cool.
yeah, if you really like email, like you could like this is what I would be doing. Yeah,
Mm.
look at
Yeah.
their documentation. It's all open. Really cool stuff. Really, really good team over there too. Um, let's see. But yeah, the IOK
Oh,
stuff is niche. Like there's not a lot of people doing it, but it is another like avenue to detect, stuff or bad things before, especially before the user gets it.
yeah. Cool.
All right. What do we think?
Fantastic.
Da-
Speaks
Yeah,
for itself. That was the best episode we've had.
that that was so much information, dude. Like we link all of these links and someone can genuinely have fun for 2 months with all of these links, just reading through stuff and figuring stuff out. So
Yeah, that's
No, this is exactly what this platform is for. Because, like we have senior analysts and just like guys that are really locked in, and they'll share links of like, good tools, but
yeah.
nobody's like actually floating them around. And we want to show, you know, stuff like the detection choke point and all the little bin sites.
Yeah. Yeah, the choke point stuff, I was like, I haven't even really shared it yet. Like, I haven't
yeah.
shared it on LinkedIn or anything like that. I've shown it to a few people because I'm like slowly working on it. And like the earlier iterations where like the page was pretty busy. And
Mhm.
so I had to figure out on how to structure the content so it wasn't super overwhelming.
Now you have to work on
Well, yeah, that's
it.
that
No, I
that's the
think
point. That's why I
it looks
started
pretty
it.
good.
So
Yeah.
thanks. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's an open source project too, so like anyone can contribute, and I want people
Okay.
to contribute. So
Yeah.
if you want to, you can definitely can, or like if you don't know what to work on, I'm happy to
Mm.
like workshop something with you guys. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
that'd be cool. Let's pick out an exploit, um, and then write a detection choke point on it.
yeah, or something that you see a lot of, but you feel
Okay.
it's like the
Mm.
same
Mm.
thing.
Yeah,
Um, Trying to think of another one.
someone with a lot of variations.
Or you could think about since you're doing AD tradecraft, like what
Oh.
like do Kerber roasting like silver ticket, golden ticket, and like SAML ticket, like all that stuff, like do they have a choke point? Like
Mhm.
that's the kind of things I would be thinking about as you're writing detectors or going through a hunt.
Muted, buddy.
That's all I got.
See. No, that dude, even it's crazy because like there's a lot that we learn obviously within the company you're in outside, but I think it's so underrated to just have conversations because like honestly, there's nothing we're teaching you, Tyler, but like just like speaking with you, so
Yeah.
sometimes you're just teaching us so much stuff, and I think like yeah, one, we're very grateful, and two, it just it kind of gives us a baseline of like, okay, well, this is what we know. What we know right now is the baseline, and this is like what we still have to like learn and study. And it gives
Hmm.
other people like clarity. Like maybe people who are starting a threat hunt analyst that are wanting to transition know like, okay, well, now these are things that I have to go see and learn. And I think that's fucking sick.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
love your
like
style. But the way I learn the best is, when a senior analyst calls me on Zoom and, he's sharing a screen and like showing me how he does it and I'm learning, I'm asking
Facts.
questions, and that's exactly how you did it. And yeah, I learned
yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, because I like ensuring my audience like understands or like is following. So that's why I'm always asking you guys like any questions, like does it make sense? Because I don't want to leave you, in the dark. Um, if it makes sense to you, then that's a good
Yep.
sign.
All right.
Yeah, and you know, I have like ADHD brain, so like it's
Yeah, you got
amazing that
one
we're
too.
like yeah, you too.
I got one too, but this stuff like makes me focus a little bit better.
Yeah.
So,
All
so
right.
yeah.
So that was an awesome episode. I'm gonna, you know, comment on the links so you guys know what to do, and go follow Tyler's LinkedIn, his future blog. Go contribute to Detection Choke Point. If you want to shout out any of your friends that also have other links you posted, we'll also put their
Uh,
LinkedIn's in there.
Yeah, Mike Haig for all the clip grab stuff. John Hammond, because you just gotta shout out John Hammond.
John Heyman.
There's
All
just
right.
no, yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to it. The Carsons Click Fix project, Gabe's wow, Lol Globs project. Um, that's all I can think about.
All right, bet.
Well,
Thank you so much.
thank you, Tyler.
Yeah, man.